Khalan Laborn. I didn't know who he was. The coach came on my show and said, this guy is a player. Look into him. He was right. What's interesting is this morning I got an email from another coach that I know very well saying he talked to a coach at Marshall who said that Khalan Laborn is a great kid. So not only is he a guy who has a pedigree coming out of high school, 5-star recruit, #1 running back in the nation coming out of high school, he produced at Marshall and the coaches like him very much. He's not like a problem guy. He's a good guy. And when you look at him, he tested like Elijah Mitchell. He seemed like he could be in that Elijah Mitchell mold for the Niners, but he has an NFL body unlike Elijah Mitchell. That's the one thing. Elijah Mitchell runs like a big guy, but if you look at him, he looks like he's not big. He doesn't have much definition. He doesn't have an NFL body, and that's why I think he gets hurt so much. Laborn does have an NFL body. I think this guy is the undrafted running back that's going to kill it for the Niners this year, but I think he might end up being the best that they've had.
So I'll be honest, man. I didn't know anything about him until you texted me this morning. Then I went watched your show with Coach. Then I also watched a bunch of highlights, read a bunch of stuff on him, and now I'm thinking TDP is in trouble.
Big time.
That's my opinion after watching him this morning. I got to learn more about him, but dude is nice. And he's like one of the fastest guys. I think Coach said he ran like a 6 something in the 3-cone drill, which is the fastest time out of all the running backs. Something crazy like that.
I have to look that up. But yeah,
I mean, this dude, he looks really nice. And TDP may be the new Trey Sermon, unfortunately for him. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Here's the thing about running backs, Grant. The thing about running back for me, Grant, is that it's not like quarterback or other positions where you can see over time, they get better and better and better. With running back, it's kind of like you have it or you don't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And the more hits you take, like the slower you get.
Yeah, and so with TDP, nothing flashed with TDP. It's not that TDP's bad, but there's nothing really flashed off the screen with TDP to where I'm like, look at that guy. Like it did with Jordan Mason, for example. Jordan Mason, from the beginning, you just knew this guy's gonna be good.
It's true. Right? And you could see it in practice that he had an NFL body. And that's the thing, like a lot of these guys that come from college don't have it. And sometimes they get it by year 2. With Ambry Thomas, he came in this year without an NFL body year 2, and he got buried. You look at Diamador Lenore, dude is yoked. He looks like an NFL player now. That stuff matters, and I feel like with Mitchell, they like him. He produces. He can't stay healthy. You look at him, he doesn't have an NFL body, and now they can't wait around anymore, buddy. So either you put it together this offseason or this guy's going to come take your job. Mitchell's on notice too, man, because you can't keep relying on he's so unreliable. He's super unreliable. That's why McCaffrey's here.
Yeah. Jordan Mason is great and plays special teams.
Jordan Mason's great.
Jordan Mason's a lock, right? He's a lock. Like if Elijah Mitchell's healthy, he's a lock, obviously. Yep. So Khalan and TDP, man, I could see Khalan beating TDP, to be honest.
Absolutely. I can't wait to watch this dude in training camp. And like you said, you can see it right away with these running backs. Like Joe Williams didn't have an NFL body. Matt Breida was yoked. You can see it. I mean, explosive, yoked, ready to go. Not afraid of contact. Joe Williams, not explosive, not yoked, afraid of contact. Get out. It's not going to get better for you. You're not going to transition to the league. You either have it or you don't. Yeah. I'm banking on this guy. This guy seems to have everything you need.
Yeah. And usually the most of the successful running backs for the 49ers have not been those, third round draft picks. They're the guys they get as free agents or late round guys. And hopefully Kyle learned his lesson, man. I know you made a joke about it when he drafted Moody, hopefully that's one thing. When you talk about learning from Mike McGlinchey, hopefully he's learned from Trey Sermon and TDP at this point.
I don't think he did. But my thing is, like, he joked about, like, reaching for running backs. Like, dude, you reached for all kind of positions in round 3. You reached for a tight end this year. Nothing against Latu. Because I think he's better than Trey Sermon and Ty Davis Price, and I think he will have a role, and I think he'll be good in that role. Yeah. But, dude, that's day 2, man. You're not taking role players. You're taking guys who can become 3-down starters. Fred Warner was drafted in round 3. You can't do that there. So, Kyle, he needs to stop with the reaches for role players that fit his little offense. You know what I'm saying? Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Your offense is such a, tiny part of this team. It's a defense team. It's a special teams team. You can't take little tiny role players for your offense in round 3, even if you really like them, because it's not about your offense.
You should only be drafting corners, elite wide receivers, quarterbacks, O&D line. That's pretty much all you should be drafting early.
If Latu turns into a starting tight end who plays all 3, he's not going to be Kittle, but if he can play 75% of the snaps never, he actually can do everything at a high level. He's worth the pick. He's absolutely worth the pick. Yeah. But at a 4.78, I wonder, is this guy just a blocking tight end? Like 4.78? You tell me a really dominant receiving tight end who's that slow. I'd love to know.
I mean, what was Brent Jones? You know, it was back in the day, obviously.
I don't know.
Right? A little different. I don't know. You know, the big, heavy linebackers.
I mean, Travis Kelce's faster than that. Kittle's way faster than that. Mark Andrews way faster than that. I mean,
he could be a big target.
And it's not just the 40, the 10-yard split. It's that initial burst off the line. His 10-yard split's slow too. I think it's like 1.66. That's what's important. And then if all of that was slow and he was on the field breaking tackles left and right and getting yards after the catch, it wouldn't matter. But he's not that guy either. Braden Willis is that guy. So there's a lot of things that make me wonder if Latu's going to be like that guy, that starter.
I will say
he doesn't have to be this year. He doesn't have to be this year. But you don't draft in third round for this year. You're thinking about the guy who can have 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. I'm thinking.
I'll say on behalf of my family, I'll say never count out the Polynesians though, man. There's something about them.
Hey, it's true. And all of a sudden, you got a Polynesian pipeline on this team. You know, maybe they found something. Yeah, maybe they found something. That's a good point. Chris Cooley, Dallas Clark. Man, I would think he'd be a better blocker than Dallas Clark. Chris Cooley, man. That's a name. Chris, I honestly don't remember Chris Cooley. I feel like did he play for Washington?
Yeah.
I know the coach is from out there, Virginia. Yeah, he played for Washington. You would compare him to Chris Cooley. 6'3", 243, Utah State, round 3.
I will say, though, say Latu and Kittle both in the red zone, those two big body targets.
It's true. It's true.
That could really.
It's true.
I can see him. He's a red zone monster, man. He's tied for first at Alabama with the most touchdowns in the season with 8.
That's true. That's true.
It's a good damn school.
That's true. Hey, man, a tight end who can block and catch touchdowns in the red zone has a long, long career and is a starter. So that'll be very interesting.